Yeah. It's been a long year. It's been a long road.
What's going on, Black America? What's going on, world? This is Talk That Talk podcast. Tuning in here with your boy Roy Lloyd. This is a podcast. It's really just, about just talking about our day to day. My experiences. Talking to the word and connecting with you guys, and so we can build and be able to grow together. And yeah, man, just creating that safe space for we can have these conversations that need to be had, and continue these conversations to try to figure out how we be better as a people. Each and every week, every Wednesday, we're dropping at 6 p.m. with a different episode, so make sure you guys tune in. And remember, I do this. When I do it with love. Peace. Hey, what's going on, Black America? What's going on, world? This is your boy Roy Lloyd, tuning into an episode of Talk That Talk podcast. And before I start today's episode, I always like to start it off with a prayer, so let's get into that. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for having this platform, dear God, to be able to connect with the world. And I ask God for the guidance and the words to be able to deliver this message the best way that I know how, and hopefully in turnkey I'm able to provide some significant value for all the listeners, dear God. And Jesus only can, from lack of his father being around. Never met my grandfather. Heard he was a big guy, about 6'6". He lived in England. Whatnot. I'm actually named after him. Well, his first name was Delroy, so I got partial of his name as my first name, and I got the middle name as well, which is Lloyd. But the impact that our parents have on us, from our childhood, from our upbringing, right? Of course, it shapes us who we are today, and then our experiences. But speaking about vulnerability, I think it was just, as men, we are, we the ones that carry all the heavy lifting, right? We carry the heavy loads. Excuse me. And so to speak, so, be able to, provide for the family, take on all the hardships, things of that nature. So, just in the world, itself, we're protectors, right? But also outside of being protectors, we also get a space to actually feel, right? Have feelings, cry, whatever the case may be. It don't make you less of a man. I grew up that way, taught that way, and I'm still, trying to make a commitment every single day. Not even trying, I am. It's a struggle. It's hard, to dismantle that belief system in my mind. Was I can't do this, I can't do that, because I'm a man. I'm like, no, some things I get it. You gotta tough it out, but it depends on, the situation, right? And in what capacity that you gotta be tough. Every single situation, you don't need to be tough and always be hard, and what I'm saying, and you know what I mean? We're human, because you think about it, how long, can you withstand that kind of way of being or going about, living your day to day, right? Going through certain things and just always being tough and being strong. You're human, right? You will get overwhelmed, you will break down, you will start projecting, and then, then it just gets ugly at the end of the day. So I think that, as men, having a space of vulnerability and normalizing that, it's not normalized, right? Being vulnerable, and we get in, the different relationships that we have in life, personally, professionally. It also either helps us heal from that, and be more comfortable in being vulnerable, or it does the total opposite, right? And brings up these traumas and continues a cycle of I don't feel safe enough to even express, what I feel about something because I'm going to be judged, and then it becomes about the other person's feelings, based off how I feel about something when I'm being vulnerable in that space, being supported, right? AKA, creating a safe space for black men. And I spoke about this a little bit on my Instagram, I believe, on a previous podcast. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Roy Inspires. But it's extremely hard, Because I think that as black men, like, if you're taught, and then especially in today's society, to always be strong, you can't cry, for nothing and things of that nature, like that is a recipe for disaster in the world, being around people and different things, because you're going to explode if you have nowhere to express that, to be in a safe space, to be vulnerable, right? Because people don't understand. And I think that and be able to know that, we all have gone through some things, we all have a story, right? And looking at it from like, they maybe are still suffering, right? In a space, and still we live in that 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 12-year-old child, and it doesn't excuse certain behaviors, right? So I'm gonna be very, very clear. It doesn't excuse certain behaviors, but I think that being able to have a space of vulnerability, struggle with that. I still struggle with that, and I have since I was a kid. Having a space to just be able to be heard. That's why I'm thankful to have this platform and have a podcast, because this, to me, it's another form of therapy, to be quite honest. And I just love being able to, share perspectives and just talk, and like I said, my experiences in my day to day. So, but I think it's like we're going backwards, right? And we're not moving forward, in general, because I think it's a huge issue. That, and I work with kids. I work in the education system. I coach high school football. I'm a community coordinator in my school, and also, helping out, with the dean's team. So, and I hear all the time with black men and young black men too, and how they think about themselves and things that they don't want to talk about. And I'm thankful that God put me in purpose and on assignment to do the work that I'm doing, to have these conversations with these young men, and they feel comfortable enough to even talk about these things with me. To give them some perspective, right? Different way they can look at certain things, about themselves in life, like, just having a space with friends, but like personal stuff, I kind of kept it to myself because I was embarrassed, for one. And then for two, I didn't even know how to talk about it. There was a lot happening at such a young age. So, what helped me is like playing sports, just being active, being involved, but it never really gave me a space to actually deal and heal, because I kept busy all the time, so I didn't really think about it. But, as an adult, as a grown man, it had its negative effects, and it's still weighing on me, at this current time. So that's why there's therapy, right? That's why there's other outlets. You got your friends groups, you got things that you do as hobbies, you got all these different things that can help support you, and able to, to heal from these certain things. But being able to create a space of vulnerability and normalize it for black men is huge. It's huge. We always can't be strong, man. We always can't be strong. Like, it's just not even humanly possible. Right? We're human beings, right? We're not robots, and even robots malfunction, So I think that, it's hard, for black men to be in that vulnerable space because of things that they've gone through and continue to go through. And also, I guess, doing the work themselves, like I said, like starting somewhere to try to heal and be able to, connect with certain people that allow you to have these spaces. Because there are people that believe, that vulnerability for black men is a thing, and it should be that way, right? Having a space, because we constantly, like I said, have to, deal with this cultural chaos, right? Disregarded, not heard, and, not appreciated, not valued, and things of that nature. And it's not from everywhere. It's not a whole phrase in itself is toxic, like we struggle with mental health issues, right? We struggle with, other things in life that we're trying to, heal from and move past. Your own, what's the word I'm looking for? Not perception. I guess creating your own thoughts, about a person, based off, minute information. I don't think that can help any black man today, right? You know, in America, I think you can take things for face value, but you also, it's a thing called, faith, right? Having faith, giving people the benefit of the doubt, until you know otherwise, right? Just giving people, like, giving black men a space, man. Just giving us a space. And there's some spaces out there, but like, I want to be able to normalize this, that it's okay. And what we used to think before, times are changing, and certain things, in old school ways, the way our parents were raised us, certain things stick, certain things work, but not all, right? And you have to do things that are tailored to that individual. Everyone learns different, right? Everyone is not built the same way, and even if they was, being, doing things that I love, and trying to be more positive in your approach, and it's a constant daily grind, in doing so, right? Especially if your parents, like, I know for me, I got 2 boys, and I struggle all the time. I'll be the first one to say it. Making sure that I'm doing what I can for my boys, but also, being at fault and knowing there's a lot of things that I'm doing, that I've done, that's necessarily is not going to be, a positive outlook, but I get to change it around. I don't get to beat myself up for it. I'm not any less of a father for it. I know I'm a great dad and things of that nature, and I don't need, it's be nice to have, other people patting you on your back, but I know what I do, right? Without question. So I think that we get to normalize spaces for black men. I think we get to normalize spaces for black men, right? And normalize vulnerability, can't even say the word, for black men in today's society. And I think that, the world can be a better place, right? I know that's cliche, but the world can be a better place if men had spaces, of vulnerability, and that was normalized for us to be healthier people. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and just know I do this. When I do it with love. Peace.